someone who is addicted to heroin and is continuously overdosing on it. Along with this, they keep being revived with a drug called Narcan that can reverse the effects of an overdose. Along with this, they have no source of income and are poor and have no way to actually pay for this drug. So in reality, you're paying for this drug through your tax dollars because the government believes that it should be available to the public. Because Narcan is available to the public, this person believes that they can keep taking larger and larger amounts of heroin and will continue to be revived. In reality, is this really helping the person? Is saving their life really necessarily a good thing considering they have no interest in becoming clean? This is the topic that I'm going to help you decide on today. If Narcan wasn't so easily accessible to the general public, it could have a lot of positive changes on today's society. First, I'm going to discuss the effects that Narcan can have on the body for people who don't know that Narcan does have side effects. Second, I'm going to discuss that the only people that should have Narcan available to them are medical professionals. And thirdly, I'm going to discuss that people who are continuously overdosing on Narcan should only get 2 chances to realize they have a lifestyle issue and need to change their life. First, I'm going to discuss the effects of Narcan on the body and the side effects. Narcan is a drug and it does have side effects and it's a huge issue. Many of the people that use Narcan or are revived with Narcan are not aware that Narcan does have side effects. People who have received Narcan right after overdosing need to seek medical attention and many of them are not aware of it. If Narcan is available to the general public, they will many times not go to the hospital or seek a doctor for medical help because many of the times they are taking an illegal substance, heroin, and I'm sure they probably don't want people to know that they're on heroin. Another issue that with the effects of Narcan is it does have withdrawal. People who are opioid dependent and are revived with Narcan can have severe withdrawal syndrome or acute withdrawal syndrome, and these can be life-threatening if they are not treated properly. Many of the people who are revived with Narcan will go out, buy the drug, be revived once they're overdosed, and not realize they're going through withdrawal because they're not a doctor, they don't understand that they're going through withdrawal, and they could possibly die. Next, I'm going to propose a solution. Narcan has many side effects, and you do need to seek medical attention. The solution to this would only make it available to medical professionals. Medical professionals should only be available to have Narcan because they're the only ones who know the true side effects of it. Once a person is revived with Narcan, they can be revived by a medical professional who knows how to monitor the patient, who knows how to look for the side effects until he or she has not had any of the side effects and they know this person is safe. There's no reason that random people should be able to walk into a drugstore and buy Narcan because they have no aware of the side effects that go along with it. Third, I'm going to discuss that people should only have 2 chances to realize they have an issue and need to have a lifestyle change. More solutions to this would only allow someone who continuously overdoses on Narcan to revive twice. This will cause the issue with people taking advantage of the drug and continuously overdosing because they know they'll be revived. Narcan does not work every time and many people don't realize this. If they make a law to where people can only be revived twice, they'll realize that they can't always rely on Narcan and that they need to have help. This will possibly lessen the overdoses because, like I said before, they will realize that they can't rely on Narcan to save their lives every time they overdose. In Murraysville, a police officer stated that what they find is because Narcan is so readily available to the public that they find people pushing the envelope a little more each and every time because there's always someone walking around the street with Narcan to save them. This, in theory, causes more overdoses because people believe they can have a bigger high and will be saved because someone's always walking around with it. Medical professionals, if they're the only ones that have this drug, they'll be the ones to stop people using heroin, and the people using heroin will notice that they can't rely on people walking around with it. As you can see, Narcan is a real issue in today's society, and it should not be easily available to the general public. Some people continuously overdose and believe that Narcan will save them each and every time and can cause more overdoses. Many of them also don't know the side effects of the drug, and it can have serious issues with your body, just like any other drug. So if medical professionals are the only ones that have the drug, they know how to properly monitor and surveillance the patient until he or she is done. Because of these issues, I urge you to sign petitions and fight for the law that Narcan should not be available to the general public and only available to medical professionals.
What are some of the side effects of Narcan, like what doctors would look for?
After you're administered with Narcan, you can, because Narcan basically reverses the effects of an overdose. So it's almost basically taking the drug out of you. So a lot of times after being revived, they'll experience severe withdrawal syndromes, get shakes and really, really sick, where they need to be monitored to make sure they're all right.
Okay. You talked about people just walking around with Narcan. Do you think that medical professionals could just, if they're just out on the streets, they could have Narcan with them, or do you think it's only for a hospital setting?
I think if you're a medical professional, you should be allowed to walk around on the street because you are a doctor and you know what you're doing and you know what to look for, and you know how to help the patient.
Do you think that it should just be for doctors in general, or somebody like my mom or another person's mom is a nurse?
I think if they train nurses to know what to look for and stuff like that, I think pretty much anybody in the medical field, probably honestly, they could probably train police officers to know what to look for too, and that would probably be okay. What's that?
How much does Narcan cost? If you go to a drugstore and get it, is it free or?
It's definitely, it's not free. You definitely have to pay for it. And with the tax dollar things, if someone just overdoses and an EMT is called, obviously that person being overdosed is probably not going to be the one to pay for the drug. But going into a store and just buying it, I don't know what the original price is or whatever.
When they go through the withdrawal, are they withdrawing from the heroin or from the Narcan?
I think they're withdrawing from the heroin, which is why they need to be monitored. They're probably withdrawing from Narcan too, probably both combined, but I think it's mainly heroin.
Are there any side effects linked strictly to Narcan itself, not the drug that they were overdosed on?
I'm not sure. I feel probably the main problems are heroin, but with heroin, but I'm sure because I've read stuff that you can probably get high off Narcan too if you just go and buy it. So there's probably some that go along with Narcan too.
You mentioned something about limiting the dosage. What was the dosage limit you mentioned?
2 or 3.
And then, have you found cases where it's taken more than 2 or 3 doses to revive someone?
Yeah, in my last speech, I saw a video of one where they gave 1 dosage to a person, and this person had been out for 5 or 10 minutes before the police officers or EMTs got there. So they gave him, one of their friends had Narcan, so they injected it. It was the nasal kind, and it didn't work. So they gave another dose. And it worked a little, but it kind of still wasn't all the way there. So sometimes it does take more than a couple.
So with your proposed solution, if the second dose is given and they are kind of coming back to life, should they be able to give a 3rd dose, or say, nope, you have 2, you're done?
I think once you overdose, they should give you as many dosage as it takes to revive you from that first overdose. And same for the second overdose, but if you overdose for a 3rd or 4th time, I think that should be the limit. Oh, you should. Okay.
So does Narcan will it actually bring them back to life? If they're if you're dead, does it actually bring them back to life, or do they still have to have some signs of life? Works.
I think it a lot of times if they don't have a pulse and they're blue, it can get their pulse back and kind of get their heart racing again, and then usually when they're driving them to the hospital, they still have to do compressions and give them air and everything like that.
All right.